Many of our seaside towns are struggling to attract much-needed investment and far from recovering could fall further behind. That's according to a report which says the resorts are too remote and isolated. Of the 9 towns with the worst financial positions in the UK, 7 were on the east coast, from Farley in North Yorkshire to Cromer in Norfolk. Our business correspondent Paul Murphy has spent the day in Mablethorpe on the Lincolnshire coast.
There are many seaside communities blighted by deprivation, but Mablethorpe's been singled out as one of the worst. Jobs are thin on the ground here. Many of the young have drifted away. The government says places like this need help.
I'd suggest building a bigger sports centre and get more voluntary shops open instead of just having loads of arcades.
There isn't no work for the youngsters, if you like. There's just not got anything for them to do when they're here.
I'm going.
Where are you going?
I don't know yet. I'm not staying here though. Nothing to do, no jobs. Just left school, so.
Today, day trippers were thin on the ground, but on a good day, this place comes to life with tourists. In many ways, the tourism, which gives Mablethorpe a degree of prosperity, is also its greatest issue. This economy is highly seasonal. The jobs of July are generally gone by January. There are big efforts, though, to try to improve what's on offer here. The former library will soon become a sophisticated exhibition centre and art gallery, open all through the year.
We need to look at extending the season, make sure there's something in the spring, make sure there's something in the autumn. That'll mean the businesses can stay longer, the bed and breakfasts and the self-catering accommodation can have more trade.
And the man who's run the town's amusement park for 45 years believes it's the community, not the government, which has the answers.
We're struggling really hard at the moment to keep up with things, but we just keep trying and hoping that things will get better. And I think if we improve the place and we make a nice, family-safe environment for everybody to come, I think it'll work.
We need to broaden the tourism aspect. We need to ensure that we have an attractive place to come and stay. Maintaining the traditional holiday, because that is what people come to the East Coast for, but at the same time making it attractive and interesting for the younger generation to want to come as well.
So, reinvention rather than revolution. This town wants to retain its unique appeal, and there's confidence it can do it. Paul Murphy, BBC Look North, Mablethorpe.
Well, Professor Steve Fothergill is the author of the report, and he's joining us now. Professor, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Why are our resorts struggling so much at the moment?
Well, it's really a mixed picture. This has been an economic audit of all the seaside resorts around the coast, particularly focusing on the smaller resorts. And what we find actually is that there is actually a lot of resilience in many seaside towns around Britain, but the real problems seem to be in some of the more remote towns on the east coast, for example along the Lincolnshire coast in places like Mablethorpe, where the problem is in part the sheer remoteness of the places, because they are so far from the big cities that they're not attractive destinations for long distance commuters, and they don't attract many affluent retirees either, which is very different to some of the smaller seaside towns down in the south of England, for example.
So what can local people and local groups do then to make their local resort actually prosper? Because that's the sort of suggestion, isn't it?
I don't believe that we should lose faith in the potential of the tourist industry itself. This is far from being a lame duck industry. It has withstood the onslaught of the rise of package holidays, and now actually we've got an important opportunity, because holidays in the Eurozone are of course very expensive because of the exchange rate, and people have a little bit less money in their pockets than they did a year or two ago. So I think actually we need to build on the traditional strengths of the East Coast resorts.
And briefly,
this is an opportunity.
And how can these areas actually attract more investment from businesses?
That's going to be a problem. With the demise of the regional development agencies, there's going to be a lot less public money available for investment to pump prime development. The government is placing a lot of emphasis on making the new local enterprise partnerships work, but they don't necessarily have the money to deliver. So there is a question mark there, but the opportunity remains. So long as foreign holidays remain as expensive as at present, then there is the opportunity for the resorts of East Yorkshire, of Lincolnshire, of North Norfolk to attract back
Professor,
customers that they may have lost in the past.
very good to talk to you tonight. Thank you very much indeed. Well, if you live on the coast, let us know what you think. Should there be more help for businesses investing there? What help would bring more money or more tourists to the seaside resorts? Your thoughts on this one? If you want to email or text, we'll have some before we finish at 7. looknorth@bbc.co.uk is the email. The text is 81333. Start the text with the word Look North, or follow me on Twitter, Peter_Levy. Tweet away. We have some, as I say, before we finish at 7 o'clock.